Hey, this is Zohair with Team WUNAX. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on the Mathmech deck. This is a deck I've been playing for the past few weeks in the current format, and I feel like it's a pretty well-positioned meta call at the moment with the decline of people playing Bystials in their main and side decks, especially with Despia only playing one Saronir and one Lubellion. Let's get into the main deck. I play 3 copies of Mathmech Circular. This is your combo starter. It'll send a Mathmech Sigma to grave, and it gets you your spell and trap. It really does everything for the deck. Second best card in the deck, Mathmech Diameter. This is your preferred normal summon. It revives a Mathmech from the graveyard, and any Xyz or Synchro monster you make with it becomes an Omni Negate for the turn. So this is how you beat cards like Nibiru and other hand traps. And then aside from that, I play 2 copies of Mathmech Sigma. This is the card you'll send off Circular. It revives itself from grave. It can also special summon itself from the hand. And for the final 2 Mathmech monsters, I play 2 copies of Addition, 2 copies of Subtraction. These 2 are effectively the same card. They're both 1k level 4 fire Cyberse monsters. They target a monster on the field, and then make it either gain 1000 attack until the end of the turn or lose 1000 attack until the end of the turn. They're just extenders in case your Sigma gets stopped or you need another body to make Splash Mage if you get interrupted. And then we play 3 copies of Parallel Exceed. This makes Alimbertion, which gets you to Circular for your full combo if you don't open one of the other Mathmech starters. You can also summon a hand trap, make Almirage, and then special this, and that gets you to combo. And then for the last 2 last cards of the Mathmech engine, I play 1 copy of Equation. You search this off Circular going second for an extra Link body. It revives a Mathmech from your grave and boosts its attack. And then you play Mathmech Super Factorial. This card is like Tri-Brigade Revolt. You target up to 3 Mathmech monsters in your grave, and then Xyz summon with them, or Synchro summon with them. And then for consistency, we play 3 copies of Signet Mining. It just searches Circular and or like any other Cyberse piece you're missing, if you already have Circular and Diameter. And then you also play 3 copies of Small World. Small World in this deck works really well because all of the cards in the deck can bridge to your starters and or hand traps via some sort of card. Any Mathmech monster you have can go into Xseed, into Circular, or your Addition can go into Ash Blossom, into another hand trap, stuff like that. In this deck specifically, everything bridges together really well. On to non-engine, we play 1 Kaiju Dogoron. This is the most searchable card off of Small World. Any card in the deck can turn into Dogoron via Small World, which is why we play this one. And for hand traps, we play 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Ghost Mourner, 3 Impermanence, and then 3 Gamma and a Driver. These I feel like are the best hand traps that you can play at the moment that work into most decks. One thing you could consider is cutting the 3 Mourner for Droll and Lockbird. But yeah, that's the main deck. We'll move on to the extra deck now. You play... For the Link ones, you have 1 Linger Evo. It's a Cyberse Link one that takes a level 4 lower Cyberse monster, helps you play through trap cards. 1 Salamangreat Almirage. You need this card for Parallel Exceed. If you open that and no other extenders, you normal a hand trap and turn it into Almirage, and that lets you summon Parallel Exceed to combo. 1 Link Spider. This helps you play through Nibiru. And then for the Link 2s, we have 1 Cyberse Wicked. This helps you search follow-up because it can grab a Diameter. 1 Splash Mage. 1 G-Golem Crystal Heart. one Update Jammer to kill with access code, and then one Pit Knight early. This card, we played this card because if you have a bunch of engine in your hand, you can end on, instead of just Heat Soul in the trap card, you can end on Heat Soul with early pointing to it. That way on your opponent's turn, when you activate Heat Soul, you can negate one of your opponent's cards with early. And you played one Transcode Talker, and then 2 copies of access code. You need 2 copies of this because Kashtira can sometimes rip one of them from the extra deck, and without access code you sometimes struggle to break your opponent's boards. That's all the link monsters. Aside from that, the final cards in the extra deck are the Xyz monsters. You play 2 copies of Mathmech Alimbertion, 1 copy of Lopless. This card does pretty much everything for the deck. You overlay 2 level 4s into this, it gets you Circular if you don't have it, or if you already have Circular, you can grab Diameter or any other Cybers card in the deck. If you have an extra extender, you can also, or if you have an extra 2 extenders, you can also use this to search a back row card, like Judgment, going first. And then Mathmech Laplacian is what you summon off of Super Factorial with 3 monsters. So this card has the effect to, on summon, rip a card from your opponent's hand, and also send a monster from your opponent's field to grave, and send a spell and trap from your opponent's field to grave. Also, if you Xyz summon it using Mathmech Diameter, because it was summoned on the opponent's turn, it also just becomes an interruption, because Diameter makes it inherit an Omni-Negate effect. On to the side deck. We play a few cards for going first. 1 copy of Called by the Grave, 2 Solemn Judgment, and then 1 copy of Signet Conflict and 1 Microcoder. This used to be 3 Judgment, but again, if you open a bunch of engine, you can use Signet Mining to grab Microcoder, and use Microcoder to make Decode Talker Heat Soul, and grab Signet Conflict. So this is like a searchable Judgment. Aside from that, this deck struggles against the Labyrinth matchup, so we side pretty heavy for it. 3 copies of Hatrunade, 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, and then 1 copy of Archfiend Eccentric. This card's also searchable off of any card in the deck via Small World, so it's nice to have Small World grab a back row out. And then finally, I play 3 more non-engine cards to beat Kashtira. I decided to play Forbidden Chalice. You can also play Kurikara, you can play more Kaijus, you can maybe play Nibiru. It's just another thing to negate Arise Heart, because this deck struggles if Arise Heart touches the board, if you don't have non-engine to prevent that. Let me know if you want to see gameplay for this deck, or a deck profile or gameplay for other archetypes you want to see us cover in the comments below. Thanks.